It is no doubt, Nigeria is a great nation with diverse cultural heritage. It is naturally blessed and enriched with various natural resources, which has helped in building its economy, and this has set Nigeria aside as the giant of Africa. But with a growing population of about 53.3 unemployed youths in the country, roaming the streets who do not even know what fate has in store for them, taking all sorts of harmful and illicit substances becomes their resort as they take solace in abusing drug. The menace of drug abuse has eaten deep and affected every nook and cranny of Nigeria. Therefore, no city in Nigeria is free from drug abusers. Let's make a trip to Sabontasha, a small locality in the city of Kaduna, one of the northern states in Nigeria, where Jasmine and her family lives. One of the key impacts of illicit drug use on society is the negative health consequences experienced by its victims.
Staff chained him to a tree. He was too violent to be close to others.
Drug use also puts a heavy financial burden on the individuals, families, and society. Now, Jasmine, the only daughter of Chief Cosmos, was a very pretty and intelligent young girl. An aspiring medical doctor, born into wealth and affluence. Jasmine had everything going on well for her until she started doing drugs, and everything changed for the worse. You know, Jasmine was actually lured into drug by her school mother, Bernice, who is also from a very wealthy home. Jasmine grew into it and became a master at it, having her own clique of drug addicts as friends. Now, firstly, Jasmine's grades in school started dropping. Her parents and lecturers became very worried of Jasmine's performance in school. Then, there is a crack in her behavior. Jasmine sleeps around with different men for money. In other words, became a hookup girl. The glorified name for prostitution, and even steals from her clients. The once intelligent and lively Jasmine became dull and withdrawn. Everyone noticed the changes in her, and it then became a reality of her drug addiction. Jasmine would drench herself in alcohol and smoking cigarettes, cocaine, tramadol. She was expelled from school, labeled as a bad influence and a threat to her fellow students. Her parents disowned her, whilst her friends bullied her with their hurtful words. Jasmine became mentally unstable and even wild. No one was there to help redeem her as she goes into the streets and becomes vulnerable to the street vultures. For every negative decision one makes and takes, there are consequences. Drug abuse has its adverse effects on its victims, and trust me, the consequences of abusing or consuming harmful substances are dangerous. Substance abusing youths are at higher risks than non-users for mental health problems, depression, conduct problems, personality disorders, suicidal thoughts, attempted suicide, and suicide. Marijuana use, which is prevalent among youth, has been shown to interfere with short-term memory, learning, and psychomotor skills. It is of utmost importance to keep advocating against drug abuse. The many dangers it poses to our lives, including physical health and the financial aspects of our lives. Stigmatizations frequently are linked to substance abuse among young ones. The evolution of the complex global illicit drug problem is clearly driven by a range of factors. Socio-demographic trends are influential, such as the population's gender, age, and the rate of urbanization. Cannabis remains the most popular and widely used illicit substance in the African region. Amphetamine-type stimulants, ATS, such as ecstasy and methamphetamine, now rank as Africa's second most widely abused drug type. The number of widely abused illicit drugs by young ones on a daily basis in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. Drugs such as cannabis, cocaine, codeine, mkpuru, tramadol, cigarettes, SK, weeds, alcohol, diazepam, chlorpromazine, and different inhalants. While injecting drugs carries a high risk of infection with blood-borne viruses such as HIV, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C, and the sharing of contaminated needles and syringe is an easy mode of transmission for those viruses. So, in most cases, victims of substance abuse suffer shame, discrimination, and all sorts of degrading attitudes from family, friends, and even colleagues. They are being treated poorly, disgracing them and disapproving them publicly. Now, stigmatization does not help in any way to redeem back a lost drug addict. It rather intensifies their weaknesses, which is very detrimental to their mental health. It could throw them into depression and conceiving the thoughts of suicide. The stigmatization was heavy on Jasmine, who eventually became mad, and that was the end of Jasmine, a potential medical doctor. What a great loss to her parents and the society. Like Jasmine, lots of Nigerian youths are suffering as substance abuse victims. They are so vulnerable. Some as a result of the massive and increased rate of unemployment in the country. Some could be bad company. Some even sees it as a lifestyle. When you take a trip down to any psychiatric hospital, it will expose you to many mentally deranged persons who were victims of harmful substance abuse. This menace has indeed eaten deep into our society. So it is our collective duty to help those with drug addiction and to live a drug-free life again. So how do you seek for help from drug addiction? You must effectively deal with peer pressure. The biggest reason young ones start using illicit drugs is because their friends utilize peer pressure. Now you need to educate yourself, get information about addiction. You need to get support. You must be open for counseling. You should seek help for mental illness. You must have realistic expectations. And you must learn to take care of yourself. Doing drugs is digging one's grave, as the consequences is enormous. There is the adverse and long-term repercussions. So come with me and be drug-free. Don't snort your life away. It is reasonable to choose your health over coke. So from all of us at Iman Joko Foundation and Friends of the Brain Club, we say, guard your mental health jealously and make your mental health your priority. For more inquiry and counseling, you can reach us on the information on your screen. My name is GMHwithDivine.